What's going on, everyone? How you doing? It's Jamie. Going to be knocking out a bit of a presentation here just to go through the 4 critical things that you need to build a 6 or 7-figure business online. Now, this is going to be relevant if you're a coach, high-ticket affiliate marketer, consultant, anyone that sells anything at all, basically. And if you are new here, welcome to the channel. My name's Jamie Gardiner. I cover all things marketing and basically just document what I've been doing over the last 14-ish years since I got started in 2011 in affiliate marketing. So if that's of interest and you'd like to stay up to date with everything I'm putting out, feel free to hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen and rock through this presentation. And I'd suggest you guys take notes of some pretty cool stuff we're going to be going through as well. And what my idea is with this stuff is to help you guys simplify the entire process, because business doesn't need to be as complex as we make it. Like, sure, you can have all sorts of automations and different parts to it. And one of the things I see online a lot of the time is, some of these big marketers, and they'll say, hey, here's my simple marketing system, and they've got like 800 components to it. Now, that might be good if you've got an entire team, but if you're like me, you prefer simplicity and scalability without necessarily having those roadblocks in place, then you're probably more likely to want something that is simple to manage and basically not have to worry about teams and all that sort of stuff as well, and simplicity basically. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen and we'll roll right through it. If I can figure out the settings here. Do something new. I'm actually going live on the old YouTube. So of course, if you are hopping on that live, feel free to hit the old comments there and let me know if there's anything you'd like to, any questions or anything like that. Cool. All right. So 4 things you need to focus on to build a 6 or 7-figure business. Now, I'm a massive fan of something called Occam's razor. And if you're unfamiliar with that principle, it is a philosophical principle that basically states that the simplest option is more often the best. And a lot of the time, like I say, as marketers, we tend to over-clutter both our minds and also the amount of stuff that we think we have to do, because we get attracted to new traffic sources and we get attracted to new methodologies and new ways of closing leads and new ways of acquiring leads and new funnels and blah, blah, blah. And so what I would suggest you do is, in order to make something work, there's something that I picked up from Alex Hormozy a little while back, a saying, which is intensity beats extensity every time. And it's so true, right? If you think about just purely based on that, imagine an axe chopping down a tree, and there's 2 axes side by side. You've got one that's super sharp, and then you've got another which is just a blunt, dull instrument. And of course, one of them, if you got the sharp axe and you're chopping, then the tree is going to fall down at some stage, right? Absent of you doing something silly or quitting. However, if you're using the other axe, of course, it's not going to do much. It's just going to hurt, like bruise the tree, and then the tree's going to get mad at you and have hurt feelings. Poor tree. Anyway, the whole idea of me saying that is, when we go online and we start to go on this platform and that platform, and some days we close leads like this, and then other days we acquire clients by that, and we're all over the place. What it means is that we become very confused about what to focus on in order to get the thing that we want, which is dream clients, great outcomes, and obviously cash flow as well. So what we need to do is sometimes have to take a leap of faith and let go of the things that aren't really serving us at that point. Now, I had to do this in 2019, where basically I was on absolutely every platform. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea, I was on Quora, I was writing articles on Medium. I have multiple blogs. I've got about 27 domains out there. I think at least half of them have some sort of content on. So I was writing blog articles for different niches as well. That was quite kind of confusing. I was also on Facebook. I've got a Facebook group. You're welcome to check that out in the description below if you haven't already joined. It's free. I'll add a bunch of stuff in there. Obviously, my YouTube channel. At that stage, I was producing a YouTube video every single day. I did that for about 97 days straight when I first started this channel. I also had multiple chatbot lists. So I was running an agency at the time. So I had a chatbot list for my agency. I had a chatbot list for my online marketing stuff. And I was running ads for small businesses. So I had multiple clients that I was managing as well. I also had 2 email lists. I was writing to those every day. And last but not least, now this is the kind of crazy part. And there's probably actually Twitter. I had multiple Twitter accounts, had multiple Instagram accounts. I was putting content on Pinterest as well. You name it, I was all over the shop, right? But the one more thing that I was doing was I was going live as part of different challenges that I joined at that time. So I was going live in different groups. So one of them was my group, but I was also going live in 3 different other groups at my peak, right? There was about a 30-day window that I was doing that for. And then, like I say, on top of that, producing a YouTube video. So 5 videos a day minimum, on top of everything else I was doing. It was just absolute utter chaos. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm just going to outwork everyone. I can just do more stuff. And so that's what I thought I was doing. But the problem is that I didn't have these 4 pillars dialed in. And as a result, I got very little in the way of results. I was working so hard to make tiny little crumbs of money every now and then. And it was inconsistent and it was just really frustrating. So basically, I was given the advice I'm now giving you guys, which is quite literally to focus. And part of the battle that we face as marketers is not just focusing, it is saying no to all these things that are around us, right? So we watch an ad and it says this traffic source is the best thing since sliced cheese, and then this other one's the best thing ever, and then this one's better than hamburgers, and like, oh my God, I want all of them, those all sound amazing. And so part of us being successful and learning how to be successful entrepreneurs is actually going, that's a great opportunity, but it's not really relevant to me right now. So going to table that for the moment, come back to it later if it serves my business at some point, right? Takes a lot of discipline to do. Highly recommend it. Right, let's dive straight into it. Oh, sorry, the catalyst. Yeah, so the catalyst for me changing, the catalyst for me hitting regular $1,000 days, and then later $5,000 days, and then as much as 22,000 or just shy of 22 grand in 72 hours, all came about because I did exactly what I'm going to show you guys here. Right? All came about because of that stuff. All that being everywhere, doing other things, it just wasn't serving. And what happened is I had to go inside my own ego and emotionally let go of all these things. Because in my mind, I thought, well, if I stop posting on Quora, like answering questions on Quora, then I'm going to fail. If I stop writing these things on Medium, I'm going to fail. If I stop creating all these blimmin' live streams everywhere, then I'm going to fail. That's failure in my mind. Because I was told that the only way I can fail is by quitting. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I better put all this emotional energy in all these things and these funnels and these chatbots and blah, blah, without really knowing which one was actually going to bring in the money at all, right? And so I took a lot of introspection, and eventually I got to this point where the advice was more or less what I'm giving you guys. Just stay focused, one offer, one method conversion, blah, blah, right? And then once I did that, I let go of all this other stuff. And of course, I was able to concentrate and I just hammered it. And then literally, no kidding, within 7 days, I hit my first $1,000 day online. 7 days after all that struggle for years and years and years and years. I had another one the next day as well, right? So it wasn't a fluke. And that's how my business has grown ever since. Now, so I speak from experience. I know what many people face. But what have we got here? If you don't have an offer, and I'm going to write in all caps to emphasize how important this is, then you don't have a business, basically. The offer has to resolve a massive pain point for your marketplace. And that is super important, right? If you don't have an offer, go and search this channel, go have a look at my free Facebook group. I've got tons of resources out there. I've got free guides and templates and all sorts of stuff. But effectively, in really simple terms, an offer needs to do a couple of things. Number one is it needs to remove major pain or impediment. Man, that is a big word, isn't it? For your customers. See if I got that right. I can't see it, so it's blooming out on my screen. So close. No, I wasn't, not even remotely close. For your customers, right? Needs to, there we go, that's too small now. Oh my God, going from bad to worse. There we go. That'll do. Bit better, right? Needs to remove a major pain or impediment for your customers. And really think about this stuff. Now, it can be similar to what else is out there on the market, by the way, because if we are growing a personal brand, then the other part of it that people don't take into consideration is our likability, our authority, our personality. People are attracted to the stuff as well. So if we've got the exact same offer as someone else in the marketplace and we think, oh, I don't want to be the same, it's not like that, right? Because it comes down to a bunch of stuff, and it could be just the way that one person articulates something versus the other. Some folks don't like me. I know you who would have thunk it, right? But they prefer perhaps yourself. Perhaps they resonate better with someone else. And that's the difference, right? That's why we build personal brands, because it's not something you can replicate. No one can copy me. I don't see anyone copying my posts because I've got a really unique writing style. I don't see anyone like copying my content, like any of that stuff, right? Because there's only one me. That's the thing. And so some folks are going to like that. Some folks are not going to resonate completely fine either way. Right. But the offer needs to do that. So like I say, go check out the channel, tons of training out there with this stuff. But that's the number one thing. Now, of course, there's a whole bunch of other things that go into offer building, and it is an iterative process, okay? So what it means is that if you put this time and energy into building out an offer, and then you're like, okay, well, I've done it now, great. But then you got to test it. You got to go put it out to market, see if anyone buys. If no one buys, then you got to go back to the drawing board, right? You got to reiterate these things. You got to seek mentoring. You got to go hire someone who knows a lot better than you to tweak it, to help you get the messaging out there, right? So the other part, and I just want to make a little distinction here. If you are an affiliate marketer and you're going, what's my offer? I thought the affiliate link was my offer. No. What I'm talking about is, if that's your offer, right? Let's just pretend that my big chunky fist is an offer. Sorry, the product, my apologies. And so then all we're doing is we're gift wrapping that. It's how we present it to the marketplace. Because if we are going, hey, here's my link and please buy this stuff, that's cool, that works, right? Don't get me wrong, it's going to work, because the vendor of the actual product itself has probably put a lot of time and energy into crafting the sales page and all that type of stuff, right? So that can work, of course. What I'm talking about, though, is in the interest of building a personal brand, if you're selling high ticket stuff, is think about if there's 1,000 affiliates all promoting the same stuff, and everyone's like, hey, here's my link, it's the best thing ever, you should buy it. And you're like, cool, well, you can go with everyone else's link if you choose to. But if you do decide to jump into this opportunity through myself, you're also going to get a level of support. You're also going to get some sort of bonus. You're also going to get these amazing benefits. You're also going to get maybe this hard copy book or whatever it is, right? Which then means that as part of that, you're now going to stick out above the rest of them, right? So this is how we create basically a business that is allowing us to grow, because we're able to now create a differentiator between everyone else that's doing the same thing, right? So there's one more distinction I want to make, and then I'll move on. But basically, when I say crafting an offer versus making offers, these are two similar but different things. So crafting an offer, that is, like I say, taking the product and then how you're gift wrapping that to display to the marketplace. It just helps boost your conversion rates. It helps you get better customers in, all that type of stuff, right? And stick out from the crowd. When I say make an offer, that would be an invitation. So you can see a URL on your screen. It's jamiegardiner.com. I have, by virtue of me writing that on my screen, made some sort of offer. Some of you might be intrigued enough to follow the paper trail, start looking through the courses and programs, all that type of stuff that I've got there. Maybe start buying something. Maybe you just go and check out my free email list. Maybe you go and opt in and join my free group, things like that, right? Some of you might. So I technically have made an offer just purely from doing that. I also invited you to join my group. I said there was a link below there if you wanted to go do that as well. That's an offer, okay? I'm not asking you to buy anything at this point. I'm just suggesting, hey, if you want to take that next step, if you're ready for it, there's an opportunity to do so, okay? Cool. Hopefully it makes sense. Right. Next one is we need a method of conversion. Now, here's the crazy thing. They all work. Oh, why did you do that? Oh my God, why did you do that? They all work. All the methods work. Now I don't know how to do that thing. That's crazy. There you go. They all work, okay? And so the track with this is sometimes folks think, oh, there's a better way to do things and there's an easier way to do things, right? So you can have a sales call. I would argue the easiest way to sell high ticket, because you're bringing the sale down to a singular conversion point. You're not like chasing folks around the internet, waiting for them to do something based on when they choose to, right? And before I get misconstrued on that one, if I ever hop into a sales dynamic with someone, I'm on a call, right? I turn away more people than I accept into my programs. Why is that? Because I'm not looking for just any old body. I want to work with people that are determined to make this work, that are ambitious, that I get along with, right? If they're in my close proximity, I want to make sure that we get along. And so therefore, for me, I would rather vet them that way. I'd rather have a communication of some kind, knowing full well that I can actually serve them rather than just selling to anyone for the sake of selling, basically, right? Like I say, it does bring that conversion point down as well. Plus, the intimacy of a one-on-one dynamic is really, really powerful. Now, of course, limitations in terms of scalability, unless you're hiring, and if you don't want to do that, I can understand why that would be frustrating. But at the same time, you don't necessarily need to get stuck doing that forever. Say, for example, you knock out your first 5 or 10 high-ticket sales, you made 10 to 20 grand, whatever it is, right? Then you can start to look at extracting yourself from the sales process. So you can close in the DMs, right? You can also close via a webinar. A little bit trickier, I must admit, but they work, right? Webinar. You also have Google Docs. I've closed a good couple $100,000 just off a Google Doc, both high and low ticket. People overcomplicate this stuff, right? Now, I won't go into all of them. There's a trillion different ways to convert a prospect into a customer. But what I would suggest to you is just stick with one. Don't get blinded by all the noise that's out there saying this is the best way, that's the best way. Get your calendar loaded up. Oh, you don't need a calendar, you don't need sales call, blah, blah. They all work. Every single one of them works. I've tried them all. And I don't wear that with a badge of honor. It's because I'm like a mad scientist trying stuff, basically. But they all work. And so my advice to you is stick with just one, okay? Just one to start with. Start getting some traction. Once you get some traction up, then you can move on, okay? Big advice. Right. What else we got? We need leads. If we don't have leads coming in, and this is the problem with people, often they'll go, yeah, I've got my offer, and I'm going to convert through a Google Doc. Go me, which then means you need to be pretty good at content as well, because you need to do all your pre-selling and your marketing, right? Which is not super easy. I'll make that very clear. A lot of folks just kind of go out there, go, I don't want to take sales calls. Maybe they're too good for it, whatever. I completely understand. I love having a clear calendar as well. But at the same time, you also need to be better at things. That's what's not really discussed, right? You need to be better at content. You need to be better at pre-selling. You need to hit on those pain points. You need to be able to get in front of those folks. And that's what's not discussed. A little bit easier to build a relationship in the DMs, for example, or via a phone call, whatever it is, than it is to do that other stuff. But you're going to need fresh blood coming through. And that's the distinction. A lot of folks miss out on that. They don't have any leads. It's like, yeah, I've got 2 really good leads. Like, cool, okay, well, that means you're either going to ideally close at 100% or 50%, which is freaking hard to do, by the way. And so I'm a little bit old school with this, because I've worked in like sales for many, many years before I started my own online business. And interestingly, it's 2024. So I've been working for myself for over 7 years now. And actually, it'll be 7 years next month. That's pretty cool. But a lot of the time, there's this argument online where people will be like, I would rather have some good leads and only have a small pocket of them versus a large volume, which is harder to manage. Me personally, I'm like, give yourself the chance to make sales by having more leads. Right? Like I never understood that kind of mindset where people are like, oh, you just need good leads. You create good leads, right? You don't be a lazy shit marketer and just go out and assume everyone's going to buy your stuff. You got to give people a reason to consume your content. You got to give them a reason to step into your world. You got to be able to help them in advance with some stuff, right? And I would rather do that with a sense of volume rather than going, I have to now close 50%, 100%, whatever it is, in order for me to make a sale. That's usually where people fall down, is that they don't do that. They have like, they're looking for the good couple of leads, and they just spend way too much energy on that. But you need new flow of leads. And once again, they all work. All the traffic sources work. It just takes a lot of iteration with some of them, that's all. Now, me personally, I have had the majority of my success out of a community. I believe communities are hands down the simplest way for you to go out there, find a group of amazing people, put them into a community, help them out with some stuff, show that you can actually help them in advance, and then close some sales off the back of that. I've had clients that have literally 40 people in their group that have made over $4,000 just from that group, right? Which is crazy to think about. These are cold prospects jumping in as well. right? It's not like they were an existing buyers group and then, there they are. It's just people that has been able to help. Another student of mine, she surpassed $14,000 with less than 100 people in her group, right? You don't need a volume of leads or a large community in order to make the stuff work. You just need the right people and the right ingredients as part of your community. Now, if you do want to find out a little bit more about that, I've actually put a link below here. It's going to lead you through to something called the ultimatemarketingmastermind.com. That's actually my program. And what I suggest you do is have a look at the free case study video there. It's very, very detailed, goes into how you can start and grow and monetize a very, very tiny audience leveraging community. So whether that is school or Facebook or whatever you got, go check that out. And if you want to lock in a time to chat with me, there is a link there to do so as well. What I would say, though, is it is not a sales call. There's absolutely nothing to buy on that. It is really just for us to get to know each other, to see whether or not I can help you out and whether my methodologies are going to be specifically suitable for your situation as well, right? So go check that out. Now, last one, and this is another thing. That's it. Follow up. Now, I made this mistake, and in the interest of transparency, I made it very badly. And the mistake was that I would be very, very good at getting my offer in front of folks, right? This is 2020. I was a little bit naive, and I just started blowing up in my business. I'm like, this is cool. And I was experiencing 10, 20K months. I'm like, yes, it's cool. And of course, I wanted to grow. We were all ambitious little shits, and so we wanted to grow, right? And so I was like, cool, how do I get to that next level? And what I'd do is I'd end up getting my link in front of folks. I'm like, yay, go me. And then I kind of like rest on my laurels. And then all of a sudden, a week and a half would go by, 2 weeks would go by, and then I'd see that person popping up into the same group as me as their sale. And I'm like, oh, hang on a minute, this doesn't make sense. What the hell? And I realized it's because I wasn't following up. I was like, hey, here's my link. And so they hear about the program. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just pop into it. And so I changed that. I became very religious with my follow-up. And it was really interesting because, like I say, in the corporate world back in the day, our entire business model was fresh lead, follow up, fresh lead, follow up, like the entire thing. That was all we did all day. Hi, fresh lead, how you going? Blah, blah, follow up. Hey, how's it going? You've been trading much lately? Blah, blah. Like that's the entire thing. So I don't know why I had that kind of like blockage in my mindset when it came to doing this online. Maybe a bit of ego, who knows? But anyway, follow up. You've got to follow up, right? And be intentional about it as well. So if I'm giving my affiliate link to someone, if I'm giving my coaching link to someone, what I will do is I will say, cool, when do you think you might get a chance to check that out? I'll probably sit down tomorrow evening's usually my downtime. I'll probably go over it over the weekend. Oh, hey, absolutely cool. Do you mind if I pop in on Monday and see what your thoughts were? Absolutely fine. No worries at all. Cool. No worries at all. Right. So have intention. Set intentions. Or intentions, as I like to call it. Set some intentions, right? Have a structure. Use a CRM of some kind. Now, obviously, I'm talking about the manual follow-up. I'm talking about going and finding folks that you can serve in your world, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it's called, LinkedIn. The same thing applies to all of them, basically. But have some sort of structure in place for that and a regimented follow-up system in place. And when you do, all of a sudden, your conversion rate's going to go up massively, okay? Especially if you combine with good offer, a single method of conversion that you improve over time until you feel comfortable changing, right, or adapting to something else. Nice steady flow of leads, and then following up with those leads. And of course, at some point, you're going to have automations in place that will do a lot of this automatically through SMS, email, chatbots, all that type of stuff as well. But to start with, the cool thing is you don't need anything. You don't need any freaking funnels and all that kind of complex stuff. You literally just need to have something that offers to resolve that pain for folks, the capacity to drive leads and follow up. And of course, the method of conversion mixed in as well, right? Now, there's one final thing I'll say, then I have to head off. But the last part about this entire process, last part of this game, is that you need to keep working on your mindset. You need to see the world as an abundant place, even if that is not your current reality at the moment, right? You might be in a situation, as I was many years ago, where I was bankrupt, Literally not a penny to my name. Absolutely nothing to my name whatsoever. And how did I somehow go about creating a 7-figure empire online? Not that long later, a couple of years later, realistically. I had to believe it. I had to see it in my mind first. And I had to hold that belief. And it was basically, as Elon Musk said in an interview, it's the deliberate suspension of disbelief that allows him to remain motivated. And for me, it was the same thing. I had to suspend the element of my mind that was trying to load me up with self-doubt. That was basically saying, you can't do this, you're broke. You're broke as fuck. What are you going to do? You don't deserve that stuff, blah, blah, blah. I had to get rid of that part of my mindset and acknowledge that it's still there, right? But then make a conscious choice to put my energy and my thoughts into something that is more positive, to see the world as an abundant place, because it truly, truly is. And that's how entrepreneurs think. They have to see it that way as well, right? You can't have a limited mindset and restrictions in the flow of abundance and then expect to make 10 grand per month, 20 grand, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand per month. It cannot happen, right? You have to allow that to happen. You have to allow your mindset to expand. And when you do, really, really good things start happening, especially when you combine it with these fundamentals. Now, of course, I know I'm not getting into the nitty gritty of the stuff, and I'm not saying go click here. That's not what I do, right? Of course, I do in my programs. You're welcome to go check those out if you like, ultimatemarketingmastermind.com, like I say. But the reality is that this stuff, if you can understand this stuff, this is what all online business is around, right? It doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you're an affiliate or a coach or a product creator or a course seller, whatever the heck you are. It's always going to be those 4 things to build a successful business. I'd probably even argue it could go right through to 8-figure, because it's not really that different. But anyway, there you go. All right, guys. I massively appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully you got some value out of this. Like I say, drop some comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Really, really always love to hear them. And that's it from me. You guys have a good one. Thanks very much.